My name is Juan Vargas. I'm a state senator from the San Diego area. I also represent Imperial County in Riverside. And I know the needs that we have. And I know how hard you work. And you are the providers that are keeping people in their homes. And the cuts that have been promoted, we can't have, can we? No, we can't. No more cuts. 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 And I have to say, I am a proud Democrat. I'm very proud to be Democrat. I did vote for Jerry, and I think he's going to be a great governor, but he's wrong on this one. But he's wrong on this one. He's wrong on this one. We have to tell, sometimes when you have a brother that's going the wrong way, you have to go and tell him, brother, you're going the wrong way. And on this one, he's going the wrong way. It doesn't make financial sense, first of all, because more people are going to be hospitalized and they can't stay in their homes. That's one. And secondly, it's the wrong thing to do ethically, morally. We have to support people, not tear them down. This social service system that we have, we can't shred it because it won't come back. We have got to fight, just like the redevelopment agencies are, right? Just like it, we have got to fight to prevent these cuts. So I'm very proud to be here with you today. I stand with you. And again, I love Jerry. I studied to be a priest like Jerry did for 5 years too. Jerry was a Jesuit for 4 years. I was a Jesuit for 5 years. And I think he's a good man. And I think he's trying to do something good. So I'm not here just to bang on him, but I am here to bang on what he's trying to do to in-home support services and to poor people. We can't have that. We have got to push back. There's not balance in this budget. It's balanced on the poor. And so we've got to push back. Push back as a brother would to a brother and say, and a sister would to a sister and say, you gotta look somewhere else. We can't have these cuts. You're going the wrong way on this one. And so I'm happy to be here with all of you, and I'm happy to be here too with some Republican friends of mine. This is a bipartisan group here. Not only are we Democrats, but we're also Republicans. I'm sure they have a little bit of different view on this, with this exception. They know that you can't cut the poor as is proposed in this budget. The in-home support service program is essential, and we have to save it. The types of cuts that they're trying to make are disproportionate to all the other cuts. You can't balance this budget on the backs of the poor. We're not going to allow that. Now, we have a number of people here to speak. I am going to introduce, I don't know that Paul Cook is here yet. There's Paul. Paul, I'm going to introduce Assembly Member Paul Cook. He's here to speak on behalf of himself and his constituents, and we welcome him here.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for inviting me to this. I know it's cold and wet, but the issue is something that obviously everyone is very, very passionate about. And the question you're probably saying, why is Paul Cook out here? You know, Paul Cook's a Republican. You know, and aren't all Republicans against some of the issues that you stand for? And the answer is no. Because you look at what we're talking about. Now, you look at me, and it doesn't take a magnifying glass to see that I'm pretty close to almost, I won't tell you how old I am. But I am so close that there's a saying, and that is you have to be nice to your kids because they pick out your convalescent home. But you have to be nice to your loved ones because they pick out your in-home support service person that's going to take care of you. And at my age, you know, one of the things that is extremely important, you know, I just don't want to be dumped in someplace. You know, I want to stay as close as possible. Now, I had full disclosure. I told you I'm a Republican. And the reason I get excited about this is if you do a cost-benefit analysis and you look at some of the things, and you're never going to convince some of my colleagues that you have a righteous cause. But I've looked at this, and I've been a supporter on many of your issues. If people come to see me, Jovan calls me at 4:30 in the morning, and You know, I'm starting to worry about those those calls. But you look at that and the costs associated with that, and when you start cutting more, are you really, really hurting yourself to spite your face? You know, you got a lot of speakers here. I'm just saying this is something that we all need reform in terms of where we're spending money, how we're spending it. You know, I'm one of the ones that I'm looking at cuts in different areas, but there's other agencies of the government that I personally feel have to be cut more than this particular program. Because from a cost-benefit analysis, and of course going back to the merit of the program, I believe in it, or I wouldn't be out here on this kind of, I don't know what kind of day, but we don't have days like this in Southern California. But thank you very much for having me. I appreciate giving me a chance to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Now I have the honor of asking Marty Block to come forward and speak. Marty is a Democratic Assembly member from the San Diego region. Mr. Block.
Thank you, Well, it is great to be here with my fellow San Diegan Juan Vargas and others from San Diego like Doug Moore. I'm proud to be here with some of my Republican colleagues as well, because this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue about people. It's the most vulnerable people in our society who we all have to come together, Democrat and Republican, San Diegan and San Franciscan, come together and protect. And I understand the governor's position. He is doing the right thing in making cuts where cuts need to be made, but he's got to be corrected with some of his cuts. And cutting in-home support services just doesn't make fiscal sense. You know, I have an elderly father, lives in Illinois, and he's fortunate that he's still able at 80-some years old to take care of himself with some help from the family. He has dignity, he has respect, he lives his life the way he wants to each day. And my father once told me, he's told me a lot of wise things over the years, but he once said to me, Marty, make sure you're never penny wise and pound foolish. And that saying rings true here. It is penny wise and pound foolish to cut a few dollars from in-home support services and kill a program that is saving hundreds of thousands of dollars for the state by keeping people out of nursing homes and other convalescent care. So I ask you, Governor, I bring together my Democratic and Republican colleagues to ask you, don't make these cuts. Look elsewhere. We know cuts have to be made, but they need to be made so they're not on the backs of our most vulnerable Californians. Thank you.
No more cuts. No more cuts. No more cuts. No more cuts. Now we have a young man that's going to come up to speak to us, Brian Nastandy. He's standing with us. He knows that these cuts can't be made on the back support. We're going to ask Assembly Member Brian Nastandy to come forward.
Thank you, Juan. From one Catholic to another, we'll carry on here. I'm Brian Nastandy. I represent the 64th District in Riverside. The IHSS provides vital services to the elderly and the disabled. The members who do this work are dedicated people who care deeply about those in need. The governor's plan to cut 30% in IHSS and 10% in nursing homes does not make fiscal sense. We know that nursing homes cost up to 5 times more than home health care. We also know there are inefficiencies in the IHSS program, as there are in other government programs, as there are in the private sector. Our job as legislators is to follow the best practices as they do in the private sector and identify those inefficiencies and improve the program. We can do that by being thoughtful and diligently looking at new ways to deliver the same services and save taxpayer dollars at the same time. Let's not follow the approach of cutting vital services without looking for real reforms. I look forward to working with the United Domestic Workers and improving the IHSS program and ensuring that the elderly and the disabled are cared for and tax dollars are used widely. Thank you. I want to thank Jovan Agee and all the people here today with the UDW, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Nastandi. We also have a very good friend of ours here today, Assemblymember Jim Silver, Republican from Orange County, to also show that he's here in support of the people behind us, the people that need our help. So I want to thank him and welcome him, Assemblymember Jim Silver.
It is truly an honor to be here. My staff has a speech for me, but I've been living this issue for the last 18 years. I don't need the talking points. Prior to being in the state legislature, I was an Orange County supervisor. And I worked on the numbers, and I know that it is a lot more cost-effective to have in-home care than put somebody into a convalescent hospital or some other form of medical treatment. I know that we're having to make cuts. In the state of California, California is responsible for public safety, education, health. Health is right at the top, and this is not a program that can be cut because it's going to be more expensive in the long run. And I am very proud to stand here with you. I will do everything I can to convince my colleagues in the state legislature that this is not an area that we have to cut. There's too many other areas that we can cut back on, but in-home services are not one of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We also have another colleague that's here. I don't know, just want to welcome her, Assemblywoman Toni Atkins from San Diego. Assemblywoman Toni Atkins. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Well, my colleagues have said it all. I'm from the 76th Assembly District, San Diego. I want to thank all of you for being here today because, as my colleagues have already eloquently said, what you live every day. And so I'm just here to show my support, to work with you on this critically important issue. And I'm happy to be here to represent San Diego today. And thank you. We're well represented in San Diego. So I want to thank you for the work that you do, and Doug and all of your staff. To bring people, you've got to be engaged in this fight. You've got to continue to be visible, and clearly you are. You are sending the right message, and I want to work with you, and I thank you for being here today. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you. As you can see, we're bipartisan. People have said that we're just going to roll over and we're not going to push back when it comes to issues of the poor, that they don't have a constituency. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're in our heart. We're fighting for them. We don't want them on the street. We don't want them outside of their homes. We want them to know that we're here fighting for them. That's why we're here. Estamos aquí porque estamos peleando republicanos y demócratas juntos para que la gente pueda quedarse en sus casas, para que tengan justicia, para que no los manden a otros lugares como un hospital. Por eso le damos gracias a todos ustedes por estar aquí. Vamos a pelear para que no hagan esos recortes. Nosotros sí estamos apoyando al gobernador, pero en estos cortes no. Él está cortando demasiado con esta gente pobre. Tenemos que pelear para que no hagan estos recortes. And as you can see, we are a bipartisan team. They say, are we going to work together? Yes, we are. In fact, I haven't seen a bipartisan team like this before. So we are going to work in a bipartisan way to save this program. And most importantly, to save the people from being kicked out of their houses, being unfortunately thrown into a place where their lives would probably be shortened, because that's really what would happen. That's why we're here. That's why we're here to fight. We love the governor, but the governor, you got to listen to. We've got to push back. You know, we're not big redevelopment agencies. You know, we don't have multi-millions of dollars. But you know what? We do have a voice here. We are going to fight. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Gracias. Sí se puede. Sí se puede.